Welcome to the Isle Chat podcast with me, Beth,
Josh,
and Ryan.
This podcast is all about exploring the big questions, the small moments, and everything in between.
Whether you're stuck at the shops, in traffic, or just looking for some inspiration, our chat is here to keep you engaged.
It's time to talk, connect, and find meaning in those everyday moments.
welcome to the Isle Chat.
5.
Oh, it's not 5.
What is it off? No.
6.
What's that on?
What's the zinc?
What's the thing?
See, when you said that, when you said, we're on in 5, 4, on Wayne's Wales, he goes... That's what he says on
I
Wayne's
was thinking
Wales.
more Hairspray, the corny Colin show.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not as cool as you, lads.
Wayne's Wales for me.
Yeah. Speaking of films, though, I was actually thinking about this because, as we always start off, it's never, ever wedding related. But I was
Because we never know that we're recording or not. That's why.
Go on, ask.
Matty, are we recording, mate?
You are recording.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I was thinking about like Christmas films, and even though last week we touched on like Christmassy stuff and whatever else, but with our little boy being like 2 nearly, it's exciting to start to like watch Christmas films with him.
Yeah.
And obviously, would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. And like, especially because his favourite Christmas film is my favourite Christmas film.
I wouldn't say it's his favourite because it was only yesterday that he
I
started.
was just going to say,
play.
what is it?
I know.
What's your favourite Christmas film?
Mine, I've got a few, but... I think when Home Alone starts coming on, that's when you know.
Oh, he knows.
No, it's
See,
not.
I think this
Elf.
is
Although that Home Alone never really goes off. It's always on some channel.
Exactly. Home Alone you can watch all year round. It's not,
I don't
although
think-
it's based at Christmas time, it's not
You obviously
Christmassy.
didn't live through the 90s.
I know.
Well, I did, but
You were like a 2002 girl watching Elf. We were like
I
still
was
in...
too busy doing Dance with the Spice Girls.
Is that what he did?
I know, yeah. what
Do that
routine was
again.
that?
What's your Christmassy film, Matty? Long pause.
Yeah, long
I
pause.
love the Polar Express.
Seriously?
I love the Polar
That's
Express.
wet.
Showing his age here a little bit,
I know,
Paul.
we
yeah.
were listening to Home Alone. She was watching the Spice Girls, and he's just looking about, I don't know.
Tom Hanks.
The Polar Express was boss. I remember when it was in the pictures, Christmas Eve, I went to see it with my dad. It was boss.
By the way, I don't know anyone who hasn't either been to Lapland, original Lapland, or been to the Polar Express this season. Every
haven't.
single, no wait, I know you haven't, but like every single person I see through my feed, no matter what profile I'm on, everyone's gone to one of those two,
Yeah,
or
I've
both.
seen loads gone to Lapland.
Do you remember that year when
Loads.
like that Christmas game come out with like the smash in your face, the cream?
Oh, yeah, the cream.
Did everyone get together and go, right, we're
No
all
one.
doing this?
No one.
Because I was the family that didn't do it. And I can remember going on social media that year and seeing everyone doing it. And I was like, was I not in this group chat when
Yeah.
everyone was arranging that?
No.
Because I think that's like, it's like that same what you're saying about Lapland. Obviously, Ryan's just like sat on his phone doing like prep still.
I'm not.
What are you doing?
I'm texting my wife back.
Oh, I'm not important.
I am listening to you.
But this year there's no like trends and games unless there's some on TikTok. I don't have TikTok, so I'm not like down with the kids.
Trending things this year.
For Christmas time.
It's hard, isn't it?
Aside from games that people do at Christmas, you have been doing puzzles, have you not?
Yes.
And you do a lot of puzzles around Christmas time, so that it's like your thing.
Yes.
There you go.
And guess what his puzzle was of?
Not
Oh,
Home Alone.
It was Elf.
that was Elf. Oh, yeah.
1,000
Secret
piece.
fan.
Not that I've got the time to be doing 1,000-piece jigsaw, but I'm really quick at them.
Somehow you found the time though, because I came here a few days ago and it was not even near done, and since then it's
No,
been
it was-
fully done.
80% done, I'd say.
The worst part though is once the jigsaw is complete, it needs to stay complete for about 3 weeks, just left on the kitchen
I
counter.
feel like you've got to prove to people that you've actually done it. It's like an accomplishment,
Take a
innit?
picture.
I know, yeah, but it just looks like a photograph, like a canvas. Doesn't look like a 1,000-piece jigsaw.
Yeah, I get that.
Do you have any like traditional stuff that you do around Christmas? Putting the lights up.
Put the lights up on Christmas Eve. No, so tradition-wise, not like games or anything. We don't do anything like that. But we always go to my cousin's on Christmas Eve. She always has. I don't know what the synonymous birthday was, but she had one birthday where she had it because her birthday is Christmas Eve, but she just one year said, "Oh, I'm having like a bit of a party for my birthday," when she was young, like younger.
Yeah.
And every year now, that's kind of been like a tradition that everyone goes to hers for Christmas Eve, basically. So that is a big tradition for us.
This is the same one who does the Halloween
That's what I was
parties.
thinking.
No,
with the same
this is a
food
different
every
person.
day.
Ryan's family just must be very broad and massive.
It is, like, to be fair.
And they all get together.
Yeah, they are,
That's
like,
nice,
to be
though.
fair.
Like Home Alone.
The only other thing that I would say over Christmas time, not on like Christmas Eve or anything like that, obviously get the kids Christmas Eve boxes and they have matching pyjamas and whatever.
That's become a thing now recently, I think.
Well, I think
Yeah.
it was because of when Alder A started bringing the matching pyjamas out for the whole family.
Ah, we need to do that,
That was
don't we?
it.
We've got matching charms.
I know,
just
but
not
all the day
the
ones, I
all-day
think.
ones.
Shout out to Alder A, by the way, doing great work. Big
Yeah.
fan.
Loved. In a way, I've thought this recently about, as like a business and stuff, trying to like give back, not trying to like praise ourselves and being like support, like, you know, helping, you know, charities out and stuff. But I've always thought that like use what we do to do some good, and obviously give back. I know us saying the name on a podcast isn't going to really help, but I mean just, I don't know, charity work as such.
No,
It's like
I'm with you.
that cash for kids is it cash for kids
Yeah.
where like is
Radio
Radio
City?
City,
Yeah.
where you
Yeah.
go and donate loads of toys
Yeah.
to them.
It's like that John May's doing that Home Alone thing now, not Elf. Isn't that mad?
Shout out John May.
Shout out Home Alone. But yeah, they're doing like that sort of thing, and I always think like with our creative platforms, we should try and figure out to do something to give back
Yeah,
in a way.
Paul.
Yeah, get in touch with any ideas and we'll
Yeah. Talking about just
collectively-
giving back and just being like generous around Christmas time, I think it's the perfect time to give back or just to give, full stop. So I don't know if I told you this, but when I was in the Asda, shout out Asda, when I was in Tasda the other week, I was there, I was obviously getting served, I was picking parcels for Becky as per usual, and as I was there, the woman who was behind the kiosk desk was stressed out to death. Like, reminded me of my mum a little bit, which is probably what pulled at my heartstrings a little bit more. But she was clearly stressed. There was me asking for stuff. There was somebody else waiting for stuff who'd already asked her for it. They had them delivery drivers coming in asking for all sorts of requests for things. And then there was just random people walking past wanting lottery tickets and stuff like that. I could see this woman's head was chocker. So when she got a little moment of time when all this was carrying on, and she was just, I could see it in her eyes, she just kind of like stood back a step and was just like, do you know what I mean? That was intense, that. So, can I just ask you a question, Maureen?
No.
Wait, yeah, I know, yeah. Well, I think that's where she thought it was going, but I read a little name tag, and this isn't like a thing, but I'm hoping saying this story will encourage other people to do it. That's what I'm doing it for. But I went, can I just ask you a question, Maureen? You know, out of all of those flowers out of there, just your opinion, in your opinion, what would you say was the nicest set of flowers? She goes, I don't know, you know, love. She had a little pause, and she went, actually, do you know what ones I really like? And I'm like, go show us. So she got out from behind a little desk, went over to said flowers and was like looking which ones, and she went, do you know what ones I really, really love? I think they're amazing. These ones, yeah. I went, oh yeah, nice one for that, thanks. Appreciate your opinion. Picked them up, followed her back to a little desk. She walked around the back of her desk, handed said flowers over, paid for them. She gave me the change. I went, right, okay, Maureen, these are yours, love. Just, and do you know, and that's not like a virtue thing, because I know people do a lot of virtue signal and stuff like that, but I love little random acts of kindness like that. I love it, love seeing it, love doing it. And give her these flowers back, and her immediate, like, all of that weight of like how busy her day was and stressful her day was just dropped off her. And the next person that got served by her, they didn't get a, what do you want? It was like, hi love, you okay? Do you need something? Like, and I just thought, that small change that you can make in someone's day, I think it's a boss
Big
time to talk about
difference.
stuff like that.
Knowing what Ryan's like, and he takes forever to do everything.
Like just telling you that story then.
No, half the time, like, but in general, you're already laid back and you're not at a fast pace, and I can imagine the queue just builds it up behind you. Come on, mate, what's going on?
That's the only reason why I did
Why
it
the
as well.
flowers?
That was another reason, because there was no queue there.
I wasn't there.
That's why. I assessed the situation. I'm not soft.
I'm quite cruel like that. I think of all like the other.
Get me fucking.
I think of like all the other ways it could have went to. You know what I mean? You going, do you want this flower?
Do you know what was funny part about it though? This is kind of like just to continue on. We'll brush past that in a sec. After I give them, and she was, oh, isn't that sweet? Oh, that is amazing. Oh, thank you so much, love. And like the woman in the queue was like, oh, that's lovely. That, like, you know, that's such a nice thing. And then she went to me, can I have that receipt? I went, the what? She said, the receipt that I've just given you these flowers, can I have it?
In case she's
And I was like, why are you taking them back? She said, no, it's just in case these think I've robbed them. And I thought, isn't that sad?
Well, it's the way I'll be living, isn't it?
That is, yeah, sadly.
Yeah.
Anything else to add about Christmas Eve before we move on
Christmas?
to weddings of the week?
Not really, no.
On to add?
No? Happy with that,
I'm
yeah.
feeling Christmassy.
It's getting there now, isn't it?
I felt Christmassy for weeks, like when I got you them stuff the other week.
Yeah.
The Udis,
See, I
No,
feel
it's
like it gets to
getting
that
there.
point, doesn't it, where we all go through that phase where it's the leading up to Christmas and everyone goes, oh, let's just hurry up and get out the way now. Because it's been dragging on. Because we start Christmas so early now.
Yeah.
So even with this podcast, each week we're doing it, and we're like, let's talk about Christmassy stuff. And we're like, yeah, it's not a Christmas podcast.
I know.
But it's getting
You're basically taking your witch's hat off and putting your Christmas hat on. That's how early it is now.
That's how quick it goes now, isn't it? I know
Joe-
Matty's not feeling Christmassy, are you, Matty?
Not one bit.
It'll hit.
I've had Heart Christmas on my radio for about 4 weeks as well.
Just not seeping in.
I think when you go Christmas
Michael
shopping,
Bublé's just not doing it this year.
Yeah. It's because he's assigned to Asda now. Shout out to Asda and Michael Bublé. Well,
Can I just-
I'm Maureen.
Well, I've thought of my favourite Christmas film while I'm talking.
Okay.
Go on.
Love Actually.
We've actually...
well, we actually
Actually?
watched that for the first time this
week.
You've not watched that?
We never watched
I'm
it
surprised
before.
that based on stories that you've told me
Movie
about certain
fanatics.
individuals.
Love Actually... Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for us though, it's for me.
So subject.
I go through phases where like British films with like a full British cast, I can be a little bit like, that's not me that.
Yeah.
And then I go through phases where I'm obsessed with like
The Holiday.
But I've never seen that either.
That was what we were
Missing
like.
out.
We were torn between The Holiday and Love Actually. We went for Love Actually.
They're very similar, I think,
They are.
in terms of the way that they look. But The Holiday for me, I think Love Actually was just a bit like, let's get as many as high-profile people as we can. Whereas The Holiday was a bit more of a thought-out film.
I went
And
to
you're
pictures to watch it last week.
And is eternal.
Actually.
Love Actually,
Love
It's on
Actually.
the Odeon.
it's all about me.
There you go.
Oh
Can I
my
just
god,
make
you
a-
know what this
Go
is
on.
not Christmas related,
Go on,
but
I'll just-
everybody in the world needs to hear what we went to see this week.
Oh yes, this is like a film review now.
I know.
I
We
know,
went
yeah.
the pictures to see the new Wonka film.
Come with
What did I-
me.
I didn't even know it was out.
Oh my god,
Sick,
it was
wasn't it?
amazing.
Is it good? Yeah. Have you
Amazing.
seen it?
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was
I feel
amazing.
so
The
left out
kids.
now.
Don't
And
take
you-
Whoa.
Effie.
I will not be taking the kids, plural. One of them might go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
I-
take Effie, she's too young.
Yeah, she wouldn't
Yeah.
understand it.
Theo will love her.
On the other hand, I'm really getting into now this Christmas theme. Grottos. You took the kids to grottos, yeah? Or are you waiting?
We
the
are
real
going to
Santa?
Centre Parks next week.
Ah,
You
yeah.
don't know it?
It's just these two people we know.
We're going to Centre Parks as well.
Oh, are you? When are you going to?
I think Tim wanted you.
All right, what day?
I don't know.
This has gotten
He
boring.
doesn't know
I think
nothing.
people know that it's definitely us going together.
I'm just turning up, like most grooms do on a wedding day.
Oh no, actually, and then we went to Lapland the other week.
There you go. Oh yeah, and you seen Father Christmas in the street, didn't you? Yes.
Last
Last
night,
night.
he came down our street. I don't know what they used to do that for a,
Santa
footy,
gets
a local
involved.
footy team, but I think now it's just for charity. But he basically sits on the back of a van, proper Scout Santa. This one sits on the back of a van and like goes round on his 110s and like
Ah.
people walk down the road and knock at your door and collect money. But we
Aw.
actually went out and like Thea got a picture with him.
Yeah. Come here, yeah.
Yeah, girl.
Put your little paws out there, little
Yeah.
tic tac there
Oh,
for
yeah.
you. Girl.
What you want for cribble, girl? Scouser.
Shall we move on to weddings of the week?
Why not? Hey,
Why not?
what did you do?
None.
Wow.
It's been a while since we've had that like nice break. Not saying it's nice to have a break from weddings, but I think sometimes
No, it's lovely.
it's nice to have that chance to have a weekend to yourselves.
Which
And-
was spent with Jude.
Yeah,
with,
blissful.
with tonsillitis.
Yeah.
Ah, so didn't you
So-
get the weekend? Because when you told me about your weekend that was coming up last weekend, and you said, "All right, so Beth's out tonight. Well, we're all out tonight with our friends.
Didn't happen.
Then
Didn't
Beth's
happen.
out tomorrow morning for
She still
breakfast
went.
with the girls,
That happened.
and then Beth's going out in the night time
Still
again with the
happens,
girls.
yeah.
Okay, picking a story here." And then on the Sunday, your mum was taking you to an all-day kids party. Then none of those things happened.
It was an all night time thing, and that's how we went.
So we didn't go out with our friends because Jude wasn't well.
Brill.
So we had to say, I went out on Saturday.
Right,
Because
she
you know,
did.
you can't let the girls down, can you?
Know what I mean?
How? Daddy daycare on Saturday. And then Sunday, it was only for a few hours, wasn't it? And he went to the party.
Yeah.
But he's been...
When you told me, I was so jealous of you. When you told me about that weekend,
Yeah, it didn't turn out to be the weekend that I wanted.
almost happy that it didn't go the way you said it was.
It was nice though to sort of have that like one-on-one time with Jude, even though he was being
Yeah, no, because you don't get
not
that out
himself.
of you.
But yeah, it's nice to have a wedding free weekend for a change, and obviously coming into the winter seasons like January and February time as well. There's going to be less weddings, so you know.
Nice.
It's very rare that we get a weekend where we can just sit in the house. I feel like when we're off from weddings, we're like, we'll do
Running
this, we'll
everywhere,
do that,
yeah.
and we'll plan days out,
Yeah.
plan to do things, plan to see people. But like, apart from obviously what went on, we literally just stayed in the house, and it was actually quite nice in a way. Especially
Yeah.
with it being Christmas to just sit and do nothing.
Watch
for
Love
the
Actually?
change.
For the first time.
Boss.
So how was your weddings of the week?
I didn't have weddings. I had a single wedding.
Tell us all about it.
On Friday. So it was at this place. It's little bit less known than some of the other bigger venues that are out there. You might have heard of it because you've been to a few.
Your acting's terrible.
West Tower. I was like,
Yeah.
again.
They'll
By
be
the way,
sick of you.
honest to God, I walked in and I was like, shall I just stay here?
Take your
I've
shoes off and you
literally
walk in.
been there 3 times in the last however many weeks. 2.
Yeah.
And like, not to give anything away, but we may be there again in the near future. Let's just leave it at that.
Oh yeah, I am so like gullible.
For our, no, I'm not going to say. But yeah, Natalie and Jay, Spence Evans' wedding.
We buy any card outside.
It says we buy any copier.
Copier?
Someone's trying to get
That
onto
is
copyright.
huge, that lorry.
If any copiers out there. Anyway,
Shout out to all the copiers.
your wedding of the week at West Tower. Which
Natalie and Jay at West Tower.
Natalie and Jay.
Boss wedding. Our mate Kim was there. Shout out Kim at West Tower. Boss West Tower. I also met for the first time.
Say West Tower more.
West Tower. I also met for the first time Stephanie Becco. I think that's how you
Yes.
pronounce it. Who is the one who is responsible for our imminent connection to West Tower for the new year, which we'll tell you more about on the next episode.
Next
podcast.
podcast.
I was going to say podcast episode, so it's next episode. Met here for the first time, great, and yet boss couple. I knew them all. I said this to them because they were like, "Oh, we were so thankful for how you was, and you were just dead nice to us and stuff like that." And I thought, you can't say that because it's not like I met you for the first time, and that's just how I was. I knew you before.
How do you know
So
them?
Becky's friend from when she used to be cabin crew is his brother's wife.
Cats,
So we've
dogs,
been
uncles,
So we've
husbands.
been at events with them in the past. I've
Right.
seen them and met them a few times, and Natalie is part of that whole Lady Muck tribe, which is
cool.
which is thousands of them.
Yeah.
And they were all there as well.
Oh,
So
boss.
seeing Hannah, Miss Lady Muck herself,
Yes.
and the rest of their crew.
Shout out Lady Muck crew.
Shout out
Yeah.
Lady Muck. If you ever wanted to come on this, which I did allude to, you coming on, but I've sent you there anyway. There you go, girl. Yeah, no boss. Lost the light very, very quickly. I think
that time of year though, innit?
because it was a dull day anyway, the light was just gone in seconds.
Coming to speak about like losing the lights. I've had this like discussion with couples in the consultations that I've had this week. So this is me sort of trying to bring ourselves into the frame and talking about weddings of the week. With our consultations, we've had to like make them aware of these sort of things happening in winter season. As soon as you get married, that's that hour or so
Get out.
afterwards,
Yeah.
that's your only chance
Yeah.
you're going to get any photos or film, isn't it? So what was yours looking like at West Tower? Ceremony. What time was ceremony time? It was
Ceremony
late, wasn't it?
time. Ceremony was very late. That's why we had no light whatsoever, because the ceremony wasn't until 4,
Wow.
which is late.
So you saw
Late for a normal day, let alone a winter day.
Yeah.
So literally as soon as that ceremony was done, it was like pitch black outside.
Yeah.
So there was no.
It's nice to well lit though in at West Tower in terms
Oh
of like,
yeah,
the building
yeah.
and
To be
stuff.
fair, it was. There was no real urgency for group shots though, because of that reason.
Yeah.
So we ended up doing a few mini ones inside.
Yeah.
We managed to get 1 or 2 outside, but that was about it.
Of just them two.
Well, they're like wider family, so like them bridesmaids, groomsmen, nearest, dearest, brothers, sisters, that type of stuff.
In this situation, this is me asking the question: if I was a bride or groom planning a wedding and
Yes,
in the
Josh.
winter season, what's your way of getting around? Like if it does go dark after the ceremony, how do you go about getting like the shots of me and Beth?
Oh yeah. We're
So
getting
it
there.
really,
We're getting there.
I know, yeah. Little step closer there, Beth. So it's obviously a hard one. Like it's very venue dependent. I was going to say weather dependent, but obviously it is. It's very venue dependent.
Why is that?
Only because a lot of venues we're lucky enough to work at anyway, will have that indoor/outdoor space. So if you can't do it outdoors, there's usually
Yeah.
somewhere there people will get it indoors,
Yeah.
like a designated spot if you like. And it's just about being a bit more proactive and being on your feet of like, right, okay, so this isn't going to happen. And I think this is why we always try and, I won't say pride ourselves on, but I think I can speak for the team, where we're very like adaptive to the environment, aren't
Yeah.
we? We won't just go, oh, can't do them out there, you can't do them. Like that's
Yeah.
not us. We will find a way. Luckily, I typically will always have either flashes with me or strong, constant video lights. So I'll probably just designate a nice area or space inside of the venue and like kind of dress that up. Because what people tend to kind of almost forget is when you're doing stuff like group shots and or couple shots even sometimes, from our eyes and from the reality of it all, it's all about the subject. It's not about... You need like an alright backdrop, so you can't have like bins in the background and that.
Yeah.
But as long as you've got at least a wide, bright-ish space with enough room to fit the people in, it becomes about the people, not about the area. Because a lot of people go, oh, can we use this as a backdrop? And it's like a big massive field with like the sea in the background. And to our eyes, it looks lovely.
Yeah.
But to the camera, it's all shot very narrow anyway. The focus is on you, not that.
But in the same breath, I know what type of photographer you are and type of like, video team we are. Even though you probably think that's not important, you'd still always do it with me anyway.
100%. Yeah. This is what I've said. This is just a general thing that I send in most consultations, and people need to kind of take heed of, which is, it's 2023.
Yeah.
Traditionally, it was the case that you got a big load of group shots, and that meant every single person with everybody else in every different combination with almost every single guest at your wedding.
Can I just jump in a sec? Because I think it's good.
If you must.
No, but I think it's good that you're touching on this, because brides or grooms who are listening to this, when they've been to other weddings, they get that feeling.
They have an
like,
assumption. Yeah.
That like.
Yeah, that's how it should be. And you should have like 50 group shots.
And I think that puts them off, because they think, oh, I don't want to be standing there. And
for
they
hours.
and standing there and getting like, you know, roll on, roll off, people coming in and then moving out, and them standing there, and you saying like the traditional photographer be like, right, next one. Yeah. Carry on, sorry.
Well, my mate, it just brought me onto the subject of my mate who got married must be about 6 or 7 years ago now. He had a photographer, and he was a great photographer. Can't say nothing about him like that. But he did exactly what you've just said, which is straight from ceremony. He took them, the bridesmaids, the groomsmen, the mums and dads, took everyone that you would expect to be in these type of photos, took them off, and I swear to God, they were gone for like easy over an hour, just them. And then they started collecting people from different areas, and then took even more. So for the whole time that you had between your ceremony and actually sitting down for your meal, there was no real respite or time for anyone really, but specifically the bride and the groom.
Yeah.
And we always say, and I kind of made like a bit of a joke out of it now, that is, if you give me a list of like every combo under the sun of people that are at your wedding, that's fine, we'll do it, and we'll make sure it happens with the help of yous, of course, most of the time. But you'll get bored of getting those pictures before I will taking them, because it is, because we're such a candid team, and a lot of people pick us for how natural and authentic we are in the environment at the time. I think that being so structured and so like frozen, if you like, when people put that like Chandler Bing smile on, RIP.
I laughed at the worst time. Then I laughed because you Chandler Bing, and then you went, RIP. I was like, oh, nice one, right?
Yeah. No.
Just
You know what I mean? No,
just a nice way.
It's a forced smile that isn't your natural self, and you've got to hold that for a consecutive length of time. And if you've given me 18 pages front and back, another Friends reference there, Matty, I love that one. If you give me 18 pages front and back, I'll go through them all. But partway through that, you'll start to think, oh, this is getting a bit tiresome now.
It is, and
it's not necessary.
I think it's good that we're talking about this, because it is a preference thing when it comes to group shots.
Full preference.
And I feel like you've got to lean into the idea of, as you've just touched on then, standing there for
a long time.
Especially
in the summer. Sam Mike's. Remember Sam Mike's?
Yeah.
Red hot day on the rooftop.
Oh my
It was
God.
the sun was burning at them because there was not really many other spots we could have done it in.
I even if you were in that spot for like 10 seconds, you were
That'd be
melting.
enough.
They handled that so well.
Yeah, they did, to be
didn't
fair.
complain once. And
They
it was
wanted them though.
They probably hated us after it.
Yeah.
It wasn't us though. It was more because we kept saying to them,
Just doing their
Have a
wishes.
minute.
"Do you
Have a
want to
break."
have a go off?" And they went, "No, we'll just get them out the way now." Because I think for them, they were quite like, obviously Becky and James are related to them.
Shout
as
out
well.
Becky and James.
Becky and James, we love you. But in terms of that wedding, I think they are very family orientated, and I think for them it was really important, to get them shots. Where at some weddings, they just assume that they have to get them photos with them group shots, and it's nice when they do book us, and we always make them clear, like, it's your day, you know. It's not ours. We're not telling you what to do. These are your photos afterwards, not ours. So
I think as well, what we do really well, I hope, it's how it feels anyway, because this is what we're trying to do, is during those like semi-awkward stage moments, we're constantly in like communication with not only the couple, but also anybody else who is like either in shot or not in shot, and try and make it a bit more like enjoyable, because it is a very stiff situation, so we try and make it as relaxed as possible.
I always say for us, it's probably like, I don't know, it's not my way, it's probably my least favourite part of the day because I hate feeling like we're stealing time.
I think it's
from them.
most, and I don't mean
Yeah.
just from a creative point. I think even for the bride and groom, it's probably their least favourite part
It's
because it is
something you just feel
so
like
structured.
You've got to do it for your nan, or you've got to do it for your mum and dad, and like they'll be happy.
Which is also why it's very important
Yeah.
to make sure that you do get them in. Just noted, you don't have to have every different component. So they will happen naturally throughout the day.
Yeah.
Just pick your imminent must-haves, and then we'll go from there.
On that note, how many group shots did you get at Natalie and James'?
Honest to God, about 3.
Yeah.
And I think the thing with Natalie and James was they were so laid back in a lovely way that it wasn't the most be all and end all important part of their day to get those group shots. Like when I said to them straight after the ceremony thing, we'll get them, but just have a little think about when and they were like, to be fair, we want some, but we're not like putting all our emphasis on that. We want to just enjoy the night. We want to just get back in and be with our guests. And, you know, it doesn't need to be as disjointed as those group shots sometimes make it feel. Which was right up my street because I was just like, yeah, it sounds. And we got a few. We got some like mums and dads and stuff. And we got one big group shot of like their brothers, sisters, like the most important people to them.
Yeah.
No disrespect to anybody else who turns up to a wedding. And yeah, they loved it. And then we spent a little bit of time on couple shots for them, and there you go.
Would you have group shots when we get married?
If you ever got married.
I always think back from our James's wedding because obviously he's my brother, and we'd probably have a similar terms of shot list if that was the case. You know what I mean? But yeah, I do feel like I would, and I feel like
You have to, I think.
and I feel like I would direct as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Knowing how challenging it gets.
Yeah. I'm not saying like people who are listening, who are planning a wedding, who are thinking about these bits, but sometimes it's your time as well. So for me, I want to make that as quick as possible. So I'm not just going to stand there and like go, when's the next photo?
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, you're in the next photo, because it's my time that use it. Because the people, I think it doesn't annoy me, but it's like, it's not fair on the bride and groom, or the bride and groom, whoever it is getting married. It's not fair on them when they're standing there. And obviously it's their list, I get it.
Yeah,
but it's
but
not
they're in pretty
fair
much
on
everyone.
them when they're standing there going, where's our Julie gone?
Yeah.
I
Julie.
think
Everyone's
it's
always
so,
checking in.
yeah,
Go on.
it's so helpful when a member of the bridal party knows everybody, or a member from either side of the family you go, there's the list, can you just get those people? Because we don't know who Uncle John is and whoever on the list.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's helpful if people just get involved and go, like, use it in next. And sometimes they do, don't they, which is helpful.
So, people who are listening, who are planning a wedding, this is a section of your day. This isn't even top of the week, by the way. But this is a section of your wedding.
Be prepared.
That you need to be prepared for, because when it happens, it's nice to know that you can either get it done quick and efficiently, especially if you've only got limited shots, or if you've got a million, you know, make sure. We said this about roles last week, didn't we? About roles helping out and stuff. So yeah,
Kind of, it all ties in though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Another question about this wedding, because I know we haven't got many other weddings to talk
Yeah.
about.
I'm on an interview here.
Piers Morgan, Life Stories, Natalie and James's wedding day. I would class that as a bit of a twilight wedding.
It was a twilight wedding.
So, in terms of the night time, how does that look? Is it just all crammed then into one, essentially?
When you say the night time, what do you mean?
So, after ceremony, do you go straight in for a meal?
So
Or is it a barbecue?
What
a
they
buffet?
did is they had, I think it was a hog roast, but the way that it worked is they come out of the ceremony, we done a couple of group shots, they went back down into the bar while upstairs changed the room around, and then it was just a case of like, once they'd come back into the room, that was their night time.
Yeah.
Done. People were already starting to arrive and stuff like that, and then they did, what was it they did? So they did speeches when they came back in.
Okay.
But it wasn't to like a
like on
sit
the dance
down.
floor.
Yeah, they were just like, people got up at the front by the DJ and like said their bit.
Yeah.
And then later on they did the first dance.
What time was it normally at? Because obviously we know what normally first dance time
First dance was around the same time.
Was it, yeah?
8 o'clock, yeah.
Ah.
So everyone, I think by that time, Kim was like obviously on it like she always is. And she was like, I think there's probably enough people here. I'm going to approach the bride and groom, see if they want to do it now, if you're all right with that. Which I was more than all right with.
Any photographer and videographer knows when it gets to that first dance point, and they're like, my first dance is happening now, you okay? And you're like, why wouldn't I be?
The times of the first dance, some people obviously sit on and be like, oh, we'll do our first dance at 10 o'clock at night. But really, people feel obliged to get up on the dance floor before the first dance has happened. So
Yeah.
I'm like, 7, 8 o'clock, more 8 o'clock probably is realistic time.
8
to
o'clock's perfect time, I think.
Get your
Gives
first dance.
you the evening guest time to arrive, which is typically from 7 onwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then fill the room up and then from there. I knew that theirs would be a boss one, though, to be fair, because I know the family, and like obviously while you're there during the day, you're assessing the room. It was a very young crowd, so I knew that when that first dance came, it was going off.
I love that when you just know, you
And
think
it
this
did,
dance
and
floor's
it
going
did.
to be
It was
great.
packed.
Sometimes I like it when you don't know and you're surprised. Like I think the last one we did at West Tower, not saying I weren't expecting to go off, but all of a sudden the room was just like, was you at the wedding with us?
Probably.
Chloe and Tim's?
Yeah.
Chloe and Tim's
yeah.
went off.
To be fair, I thought you were talking about Helen and Gavin's because I've recently just finished their best bits.
Yeah.
But Chloe and Tim's, you couldn't move
Yeah.
on the dance floor. You were literally
Hot,
like...
weren't it?
Yeah. That's what I'd want my wedding to be
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Sorry, our wedding.
my wedding, my
Josh has
wedding.
been
My
planning
wedding.
this. Josh has been planning this since he was a little girl.
Don't tell everyone, please. Anything else you want to talk about your wedding of the week before we move on?
No, it was a great wedding, and thanks very much.
Shout out West Tower. Whoop whoop.
See you next week.
Oh.
Hey! So Josh has kindly just brought us all a bottle of water. Thanks, Josh, because we were all
It's
talking
not
that much.
win-win water, though.
It's not win-win water. Shout out win-win
It's
water.
Costco water.
Costco water.
Everyone
Not
has this
sponsored by
now, I think.
Kirkland. And I only went to open the top, and this is the problem with being in someone's home. I feel so uncomfortable now because I've just spilt half the bottle all over the couch, which you can't see. But
Thanks, Ray.
Don't worry.
you're welcome.
I think the minute we had Jude, any stains or mess that happened on the couch has just been, accepted now.
It's a bit of
Yeah,
a
luckily for me.
poor choice of colour
Yeah.
when you've got kids, but it cleans easier.
Telling me about poor choice of colour. We picked a creamy beigey couch.
Just be careful, you might offend people who've got creamy beigey couches out there.
It's all the beigey couch. No, we got a cream/beige couch, and my God, does it pick up stains like you've never known in your life. Quite annoying.
This picks up stains, but easily enough cleaned. But
Yeah.
Well, when I don't know if about you, but when a lot of people, you get cleaners that come with the couch, like a
Yeah.
cleaning
Oh,
box,
yeah.
and they're about that big, and you think, oh, fuck, I never use them
Yeah.
ever in a million years. We're probably going to have to put an order in soon for some more cleaning products. We've used them that frequent. Becky, you might as well just have them on her hips in a back belt. Spit every day. It's just a clean up mess. Them kids.
So, topic of the week.
Top of the week, what is it, Beth? You can announce
top of the week this week is ceremony. So we're going to talk about the ceremony start to finish and just give our inputs, questions, see what happens.
Tips and
Stories,
tricks, tips
questions,
advice.
tips
What was
and
it?
Please
tricks.
don't. Tips and tricks was what you said.
Sorry.
So we'll start with
Where it all starts.
where it all starts, where we've got
The groom's in there.
Or the bride.
all the brides, yeah,
Announcing
at the aisle,
guests.
waiting for the other half.
Announcing guests in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the start, isn't it? Because obviously, typically how it works is the registrars go in there,
Or the
they'll be
vicar,
scoping the room
priest.
out. Or the priest, yeah. I need to stop thinking that it's at a venue or a hotel.
You're just picturing West Tower every
I
single
know.
time. Registry.
I need to stop going there. Or maybe not. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? The groom's in there, the priest/registrar's in there,
Yeah.
and guests are starting to come in. What's your take?
Well,
What's your take?
I just think that must be the most nervous part of the ceremony. Waiting. And that anticipation of waiting for your other half to come down that
From
aisle.
the groom or bride's point of view.
From both points of view, because a lot of the time, the bride's worried about walking down the aisle in case they fall over. Especially in West Tower. Talk about West Tower again.
God.
Walking down the steps. But
Get out of our ears! Go on.
I know. I think the groom will be nervous.
this feels like a West Tower podcast now.
Oh, yeah. That's next week. Little breadcrumbs. Go on.
Easter eggs. Sorry.
I don't even know what I was saying now.
Oh, tripping down the stairs.
You were saying about nervous
Yeah, but
and
I'm not ready. I'm not getting to that point yet. Someone else add in.
Okay.
tennis match.
So I feel like, for me, and I feel like this is advice for anyone who is waiting at the top of the aisle for the other half to come down, is what you've got to tell yourself is, they're coming down. Firstly, they're not going to stand you up. Never happened. I don't think it's like the movies, is it, where you get stood up, or
it's
someone's
not-
going to run
that-
in and go,
that's not real
I
life.
object! Shrek. So you're not going to, not actually Shrek time at your wedding, but you know what I mean? That's not going to happen. So I always just feel like what you would remind yourself is, it's like, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't stress yourself out and just enjoy it. Take it all in, because once that's gone, it's gone. That feeling, that whatever's happening inside, you're only going to get it for that short period of time. It's not going to last forever. It's just for that
30,
moment.
40 minute window. That's what you get.
No, but I mean, when you were waiting, how did you feel? Because you've done it.
It's always about me, innit? I felt fine.
See?
I was relaxed. I'd had a full day that day. I'd been on a 5k run and everything.
I think probably the worst part is if they're checking the time, and obviously I don't think I've ever done a wedding or been to a wedding where it's been bang on the time that it should start.
Never.
So anyone who is getting married and is standing there waiting, just be wary that it's never going to run on time. So when you go, these shit's at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, not because they're
Call
not
it after.
ready or like there's a disaster, but just sometimes it's transporting the bride to the ceremony, or they're still speaking to the registrars, or one of the flower girls have just run to the toilet. It's just something so simple, but it all just obviously, and the groom must be stood there sweating.
It has an
just
order, doesn't it?
constantly
Well, the
checking
groom's probably
time.
in that room the longest out of everyone.
Yeah.
Groom or bride.
So anyone,
Needs to stop saying
any
groom.
guests
No.
that go to weddings and you see the groom sweating or the bride sweating, just go over. Give them a little thumbs up.
By the way, yeah, that's a good point actually, because I think people assume that once they're standing there,
Yeah.
they're like untouchable. They're in a like,
Yeah.
little glass box that you can't penetrate.
Isn't that weird?
It's so bizarre.
You see people going-
and then we come in, don't we,
I
and
see
like
what you
walk straight down the middle, like big thingies, big balls. I was gonna say, and like straight to the groom and
Speak
go,
for yourself.
"You're all right, mate. You're all right. Everything all right?" And he's like standing there like no one spoke to him for about an hour.
Yeah, and
Speaking of walking down the aisle, though, I've been to quite a few weddings.
you've walked down the aisle. So have I.
No, I don't mean me physically walking down
No.
there.
Not officially.
But I've been to quite a few weddings, film them, not where the guests are not allowed to walk down the aisle, and they have to be while they're taking the seats, they have to walk
Right.
round
Is this because of the white carpet or just?
because of the white carpet.
Okay, so allude to said white carpet. What do you mean?
So obviously,
I
there's-
obviously know what you mean, but for the sake of the
so
guests.
you've got your white carpet in the middle of the aisle, and I've seen it many of times where there's been like mainly the groom's party. What do they call it? The groomsmen.
Groomsmen.
Ushers.
Blocking off the aisle, making the guests walk around, and we've seen it where some guests have gone onto the white carpet and there's been
Mess.
mess. Like,
It's awkward though, isn't it? Because I even think with the floating do you know what? I think this is good that we're talking about this, because anyone who is getting married who is already envisioning how their aisle's going to look and think, how does it stay untouched? These little tricks that we're giving out, tips and tricks, these little pieces of advice that we're giving out, it's always good to have like your groomsmen blocking off the aisle and make sure they do the job.
Or put like a little ribbon across. I've seen that as well.
Well, that helps, but I think people being there, 'cause
Groomsmen's better, yeah.
sometimes
Direction.
people like to do that thing where they go, you know, bride or bride family on that side, or groom and groom family, you know what I mean? They always like to say, what side do you want to sit on? Some people say, we're all a big family now, sit whatever you want, which I love, by the way. That's what I would do.
but then also I think if you haven't got that sign and you've got your groomsmen stood blocking the aisle, they can then reiterate that message. Sit wherever you want.
Yeah. But I think with floating candles, that when you speak about mess, floating candles, where they position them sometimes.
The most kicked object in the world.
Yeah.
Over
I've
a
kicked them
football, by
loads
the
of
way.
times.
Over football, I'd say
Yeah.
they get kicked more.
And I've kicked them before, and luckily it's never led to a mess. But I always feel like, oh my God. And every time you speak to people who are dressing the room or the venue, they always go, every time.
You know what
Some
I've
people
just-
ban them. Some people actually ban them.
No, I believe.
You know what I've actually seen once? So on the top of the aisle where the groom was stood, on the floor was a heart shape of confetti on the floor. So the idea was that the bride just walk down the aisle and then there'd be the heart shape of confetti on the floor. Lovely idea, obviously. And
This,
I like
they,
it.
you know what? It looks good.
they paid
Yeah,
a
silly
few
amount.
£100
Stop
to
it.
have it laid out.
I'm in the wrong
and
job.
before the bride got to the aisle, because obviously you have your bridal party walking in front of you, the heart was
Not a heart anymore.
not a heart
Broken.
anymore. And I was like,
Their hearts are
Their
broken.
hearts
with
are
the
broken.
paid.
Sure. 500 quid for that.
Kicked to the floor. But yeah, and I've seen it stay in position. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until the bride gets to the end, which is nice. But I don't know. And I've seen the people, I've seen the girls, you know, in the morning doing it. And I've watched them doing that, being like, they've spent so much time doing it. It's just a heart, isn't it?
which way would you do the heart though? That's like,
I would say you think
so
about the
she's
heart like
walking
that.
towards it.
Think about, I would stand at the point, the bottom point.
Yeah.
So
Or
say
not.
the groom or the bride is always in front, so they're blocking it from where we stand. That makes sense?
Right.
So it's behind them. Because I'm thinking of Peckforton Castle. That's what I'm
that's
thinking
what
of.
I was thinking of.
Yeah.
So that's what I see.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's another little thing that people like to do. Here's one for you, because we had this in our consultation yesterday. I'm putting a phone voice on all the time. Yes, time me to stop.
Here's a little one for you.
Here's one for you. In the consultation yesterday, the bride mentioned about the first kiss. And I know I'm jumping.
I think it's good to jump because I feel like chronological order is a bit
Well, this is the
more
reality, isn't it?
difficult
Yeah.
to follow. So I think let's just jump to what pops into our heads about the ceremony. Works better.
She mentioned about the first kiss and how she envisioned it. And how she envisioned it was like the movies. And I like to compare this to the movies, because I think sometimes when people don't go to weddings, let's say, and they've watched the film, their favourite film, like Love Actually, for example, where the choir sing...
Oh, you
Need this love.
Love the way you cued Matty up there.
I actually forgot.
And sing.
But people envision that, and they think that you can capture it the way the film was. So they go,
Yeah.
I've got the choir on the balcony there.
Yeah.
So, and they envision like the film, and you think, it doesn't, that's to like burst your bubble and anything like that, because I always try and do what they want. But sometimes the way the layout in your venue doesn't always work that way. So when it comes to this first kiss with Zoe and Lee, where they want us to be, essentially, and where we're going to be, that the transition, getting to that position.
It's quick.
And it's not that for us and the registrar. We don't want to be this like, just come up with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And make a bit, and everyone's
It
going,
needs to
"What's
be
going on
a
here?"
because obviously, ideally, you want the registrar to move out the way so you can get in to have the kiss.
Come.
But it needs to be a conversation that's had before the ceremony, so the registrar knows, can you just move out the way? However, in the moment, the registrar will probably forget.
So this is another point
As
that
well,
she
to just
mentioned.
move.
She said, does the registrar move? Now, anyone who is planning a wedding, they keep saying the same sentence every single time, but I think it's good that we're basically speaking to you directly. Get the chocolates out, lad. No. The registrar, sometimes, or priest, where you do your first kiss, they might not move. They might just stand there and let it happen in front of them. I would say the good ones, now this is actually making a dig now, the good registrars and the good, like, vicars or priests, whoever's doing the service or the ceremony, the good ones know to move.
Yeah, they'll actually... It's happened most of the time lately. I think it happens when we were at West Tower last time with Thingy and Tim's. Chloe and Tim, sorry. Where she said, didn't she? She actually said herself, just let us know, go wherever you want, do whatever you want to do, and move out the way on the first kiss. She was aware of it, and I think nowadays most people, registrars, priests, whatever, are very aware. The sad but yet good thing for us as a three is that we're so good at being like invisible and like stay out the way type of thing, is that they do forget that we're even there.
Yeah.
You're like, and that's a lovely compliment, but at the same time, move.
I feel like, because it's only ever last minute that they will move, that we always have a great shot of the kiss anyway. And then if they do move, it's a bonus.
Love the way Beth's tried to sellotape it back together.
I can't cope with that, you know.
So,
we need to take a moment for the way Josh is open.
We were going to say about this, weren't we? Because you're not getting away with it. But
why?
So obviously, what I've got here is Exhibit A. Cadbury's, not sponsored.
This is Ryan's shout out of the week. We're going to do one every week where he shouts out.
This could be it. This could be it.
This is it, the milk tray.
So I think we were talking about this in a little car journey earlier this morning, that I seem to have this like thing where I go, shout out whoever. And it's got to the point where I think Josh and Beth... Sorry. It's got to the point where I feel like Josh and Beth have said, why don't you do like a shout out of the week to make a specific mention to a specific person rather than just fleeting comment. So just so happens that I've got something in my hand. So shout out to Cadbury's Milk Tray, who obviously present lovely boxes around this time of year, probably make a fortune. Not sponsored, should I say. And being the milk tray man like I am, I would take delicate care of this, because I know it's, to most women, is like a lovely little like smooth situation. Josh is like a wild animal, and instead of just opening it like the sophisticated way like he would, tore the thing to shreds. He really wanted that chocolate in you, son.
No chocolate was
My
harmed
anxiety
in the
went-
opening of this box.
I literally was stood next to him while he done it, and I was like, why have
what's
you
happened
just
there?
done that? Like, why would you open it like that?
I've never seen Beth look so disappointed.
Do you know
in
what?
your
I
life.
didn't open it this much before, I didn't realise
No,
how bad
take
it
the
was.
sellotape off because I've tried to sellotape it back together because it's stressed me
Why?
out that much. Look how bad it is.
This is where
to
this
be ate.
podcast is good for
Eating.
not just being wedding podcast, but also a real life podcast.
That's
of
the state my life's in at the moment.
proportions.
That's how I open.
How are they going to stay fresh now? You better eat them all.
How are they going to stay fresh now? First world problems there.
That's what she said to me though, with like a serious look.
No, what was
It is-
more annoying? You can't even see what chocolate you're eating because you ripped it all.
Okay, yeah. So based on what chocolate you're eating, this is a little, not even a question that it was expected. But
Give us a bit of
when you
chocolate.
first, I'll give you it now. When you first go into a boxing milk tray, what is the question? What is the chocolate you go for?
The caramel
first?
one.
Caramel.
The most plainest one you've got.
Caramel softy.
Yeah, the love heart with the lines.
Yes,
on
that
it.
says a lot about your personality, I think. Josh,
The plain one.
the most plain boring
Go
one
on,
in the
read
whole
out.
box.
The plain one.
So the
Describe your
plain one.
personality.
So the caramel softy is milk chocolate matched with a caramel sweetheart. Ah,
Do man.
where's yours?
Don't know. Basic. Bitch.
They haven't got one.
They
That's
don't
it.
have-
That sums it up.
Honest to God, it hasn't got one. You got caramel softy, hazelnut swirl, white truffle, raspberries cream, orange, praline, fudge, honey, truffle, salted caramel. Is the truffle heart the normal one?
You need to see which one's missing, then you'll know which one.
Well, they're all missing now because I've been here 20 minutes. But the truffle heart seems to be the one, is the closest to the plain one. Smooth chocolate truffle locked in a milk chocolate heart. So you've got a locked
Milk
in
chocolate.
heart. Milk chocolate.
What would you go to?
Well, when I first
You're
came in
definitely
here,
a bounty, aren't you, in a celebrations
no,
box?
definitely
Proper.
not. So the one I went for before, the first one I went to, probably because it was one of the only ones left, salted caramel charm. Isn't it funny how this actually kind of feels like,
I'm
Oh,
smooth.
piss. It's like a horoscope.
yeah, but it does it. Chewy. Chewy caramel with a touch of salt
Oh,
in a
hey.
smooth milk chocolate.
Milk chocolate.
That is so funny that I've never looked at them like that in my life. That was like, almost like a horoscope, wasn't it?
It's quite funny when people judge people on what their like taste buds are, innit? It's quite funny, really. What's your pick?
What's
Matty?
yours, Matty?
Is it white truffle, did you say?
There's
There's
a
no white, I don't think.
No white.
What did,
the only one that's a truffle is a truffle heart, like Josh says. But there's one that's got
Can I have
like
one?
lines across. That's a fudge.
I've honest to God, it's been that long since I've had one.
Well, I'll pass them over to you.
Coming
You
out,
can
yeah.
have one.
What are you up
There
to?
is a white truffle.
I knew there was a...
There is a white truffle. Sorry, Matthew. White truffle.
I think it'd be a white truffle.
It's just chocolate truffle wrapped in milk chocolate. Oh,
Yeah.
Heavy.
fucking
Yeah.
horoscopes. Right, I'm going to have the
not
fudge
your
and then I'm
month.
going to pass it on to me mate Beth.
Swear then, by the way.
We don't swear on this podcast.
You do swear all the time.
I know, I always have to change the radial. You know when you upload it to Spotify,
No.
it asks, is there like obscenity in your episodes? And you have to say whether it is or isn't.
Can you tell how much involved Josh is in the post?
I know, yeah. Well,
Hang on a second.
Joshy's the leader of the pack, hasn't even got a clue.
I edited the podcast and I uploaded to YouTube. And the only question YouTube asks you is this for kids? And I'm like, no.
Is right, YouTube, whether you're policing skills.
Let's be looking at them for
I know.
2 minutes.
Right, this is me solving
Okay.
bit of Zoe and Lee's wedding with this first kiss.
Go
Because if this is me trying to say to our couples or anyone who is planning a wedding that your photographers and videographers can get around fixing something in like real time. So for example, when they do their actual first kiss, right, and everyone like goes, way, clap, 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 clap. What we
What
can
did he do? Wait, clap, 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 clap.
Yeah, when they do that, we can always say to the couple, listen, just before you sit down in the registrar, pose you down, sign your documents and stuff, what we can do is we can then move around to that end and say to the registrar, oh, let's give them another round of applause, have another kiss.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would work.
Yeah. We've had it before with the priest forgot to announce first kiss, didn't he?
Oh, I was
And that
actually...
was just done a little bit
I
later.
Everyone
on.
was on the edge of the seat.
Honest to God,
I think I was at that.
No, you weren't.
Was I at that one?
No.
That's definitely happened to us as well.
It's probably happened before.
It
but
has happened.
The bride and groom were like,
I was saying.
shall we kiss?
No,
like,
but
to be kissed now? Like, what's going on?
I've just finished editing this wedding, and in the ceremony part, the bride goes to the priest. His name's John, and she goes as he goes, right, do you want to come with us to sign the register? She
Priest's
goes,
name's John.
Yeah, everyone's called John. John, and she goes.
This is a clip. Go on.
She goes. What? What's so funny about that?
Go on.
I know
Stop
what
it, Beth.
I'm-
Why? Because my name's John.
She didn't know that. Go on, tell me the story. We're on 55 minutes here.
Oh, are we? Sorry. Basically, she goes, as he goes, right, come at me. She goes, John. And he goes, what? And she goes, you didn't do the first kiss. And he goes, that's your fault, isn't it?
Stop it. That is classic, that.
It's your fault, isn't it? So then obviously afterwards, you could see she was a little bit gutted because I think in your head, you always envision the first kiss being like what it is.
Iconic moment.
And at this point, it was just the band at the back of like the choir started playing again and they couldn't get it back.
Moment was gone.
So yeah, what I'll do is, once I bring you back in and announce you as the new Mr. and Mrs. again, you can have a first kiss then. And we'll get a big round of applause.
Do you think people practice the first kiss?
I know people do.
I know people practice the first kiss.
Do they like, because you must really overthink it.
No, because I didn't practice it. I didn't like stand there like copping for my hands or nothing. But like, me and Becky discussed how we would have our first kiss. Is it like a long one? Is it like, I'm not going to say the word, but is it like a tonguey? Is it like, you know what I mean? But you see, obviously we see a lot of different types of first kisses. Some of them are long and strong. Some of them are short. Some of them are little
What are
pecks.
you talking about?
You sound like chocolates.
Some of them are short. Some of them are sweet and nice. And some of them are like quite raunchy and like get a room. So
Yeah.
it is a topic of discussion, I think. I think a long-ish, held, no tongue
Grab at the
kiss.
face.
I think...
No, you can't grab the face.
So
make up
no. So can't grab the face. Can't grab the face. Although it does look lovely when they do grab the face. I think lean into each other, hold each other.
Do you want
around.
to demonstrate?
Yeah. So if
Don't
you hold
you
each
dare.
other,
Don't you dare.
if you hold each other like so,
Get the elf.
and then
This feels like, people like do a first
wait
aid
there,
course.
pass the other one. I feel like I shouldn't be copping for this, Teddy. I think they should like keep it in the same gene pool at least. So you've come in, the arms around, and it's a slow turn of each head, and it's a long-ish, maybe
lovely.
3 to 5 second
Is she
kiss
putting her legs around him?
without tongues.
I know.
You can't get enough of each other, girl.
It's the height. There's a height.
There's a height difference here.
Oh,
But yeah, nice.
this is all giving me that course, isn't it?
Small,
definitely
this is a clip. This small held 3 to 5 second kiss, no tongues. No tongues.
Why are you
Make
so
sure
serious
touch
when you're
each
telling me what to do?
because you asked me the question, I'm giving you the real answer.
Is this tips and tricks?
It's tips and tricks. There's brides and grooms out there, bless them, don't even know how to cop. They're all fridges.
First time for everything.
That's showing me age, that. If you're a fridge. Do you know what a fridge is?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you off.
I think I know what I could do.
Oh, Matty, you're about 20.
6, thank you.
I'm 26 and a half! But yeah, anyway. Moving on.
No, I think we should
God.
still dive back into first kisses because I feel like we just had a little giggle there and didn't.
I don't feel like we should talk anymore about first kisses.
Well, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
But I feel like, for me, what you've got to remember is that you are getting photographs taken and you are being filmed when you do it.
Yeah.
So I feel like just
Give us a chance.
Give us a chance is one thing, but be conscious of not like throwing the tongue in. I do think, and this is my preference, and obviously I know when it comes to edit a film, if we want to put it in slow-mo, because it creates that cinematic look when it's in slow motion, and seeing someone's tongue just leave the mouth.
Like that.
It's not.
Lizard.
It's not great sometimes. So,
But also don't have a
Leave-
tiny little peck because
leave
that
with the
doesn't give us
lips.
enough time.
and that's about it.
And meat at the hips.
I feel like, you can only go too
like
much.
that. Leave with the lips, meat at the hips. No?
I've just got dirty mind, that's all.
Oh,
Inappropriate. This podcast is getting more filthier each week.
I know,
I don't
yeah.
like it.
Anyway. Move on from first kiss. I've actually got questions because we said we would ask each other questions, so I've got one for you.
Okay.
Talking about.
Snap that little bit again. The questions.
Okay, sorry. So I think instead of going too much on a tangent, because I think we could definitely do that there, and by our diagram from sex education from school, we'll probably just leave that there. But I had a question
First base.
based on ceremonies for you two.
Okay.
So my question was, because this has happened to me, what would you do if the registrar / priest told you that you can't shoot during the ceremony.
Shoot at all.
At all. So I was at Leanne and PJ's when this is like early days of my like wedding world, and I was at this wedding, and we'd done the whole bride prep and stuff like that. Went on, we transitioned to the church. We got outside. Obviously, I'm waiting for the bride to arrive to getting out the car and stuff like that. And the lady priest or vicar or whatever they're called, no disrespect to the church, turns to me and goes, "You the photographer?" And I thought, "Oh yeah, nice to meet you. Anywhere I can and can't go." And her answer was, "We actually can't allow you to take any photographs during the ceremony."
Wow.
And I was shocked for one, and I didn't know what to say. And then about 2 seconds later, Leanne got out the car, and I had to vocalise this to her just to say, "Listen, I've just been told I can't take any pictures during your ceremony, not during the vows, not the first kiss, not exchange of rings, nothing. So I'll tell you what I did in a minute, but I'd like to know what you two would do."
I feel like first
And I
thing-
don't even just mean like, how would you get around it inside? I mean like, what would you say? How would you act?
I feel like the first thing is, as a couple, I think this is something that you should always ask your church.
Yep.
Because if you haven't, like, suppliers come into the church, which is obviously their place, and they have their own rules and stuff, and everyone's got different rules, etc. You should always find out where things can happen. If not,
Yeah. I think
that's
this
my
is,
first.
We've
I
had-
think
this
not
was
even from me.
happening.
That's
This was happening a lot at church
Yeah.
weddings.
Yeah,
Like,
we have had it a few times where they've never
'Cause
said
they
you
restrict your
can't,
movement, don't you?
but they've said you can only stand at the back, or which is obviously not the greatest place, or you can only stand in this certain
area.
But
What would you do?
I feel like we always have to have, if it's more, it's in a church most of the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like when the couple say to us, "Oh, we're getting married in a church," our first response is, "Have you spoke to the
Yeah.
priest? Can we take photos?" Because we've had issues before. We let them know of issues that can occur and make sure that they know where the church stands on that kind of rules.
I always ask.
because you want to
straight away.
respect the church and their values as well, don't you?
Yeah.
But I know on the day, if it just got spun on me, and I was like, wow, I wasn't
At the
expecting
altar,
this.
basically, it's spun on
Yeah.
me.
First thing, I'd go straight over to the groom, because he stood there, or brides waiting, and I'd just be like, "Listen,
This is the sitch.
this is what I've been told. You need to let me know what you want me to do now, because you're paying me to do a job and a service." And for me, and I always think this, and I'm not trying to disrespect people's rules, etc., but once that day is come and gone for the church, they will never forget, they'll never remember that day, as sadly as that sounds. And I always feel like with weddings, it's the couple's memory and family, right? And the only way they're going to get that memory back is through the photos and film, and to take that off them by going, "Yeah, we don't allow it." Well, that's not good enough for me. So
I think it is.
I'd
It doesn't happen very often, by
not
the
that
way.
I would be
but
like a diva about it,
The couple
but I
have
would
got the
stand up
best
for the couple and be like,
persuasion
Yeah.
on the priest vicar. They're the best person to, obviously, it's not probably a stressful time for them to have the discussion, but they're going to be the ones that can convince them if
it's their
anyone
memory
can.
at the end of the day. It's not the
Yeah.
vicars or the priest, and I think that's where I draw the line. I just say it's their memory, and I don't want them to go away and go, "Yeah, we've got nothing from the church." How
do you know what I did?
I've got nothing left.
No, I was thinking about that time when you got shouted at in the church.
Yeah, I didn't know. So I don't
Didn't
go
know
to
that.
weddings purposely and get shouted at, but basically beforehand, the lady was a vicar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not really.
I don't know.
political in
I
my
don't know
weddings,
what
not really sure.
titles
There's
and
too
stuff
many,
they
there's
have.
too many titles.
But basically we said, "Oh, where do you want us to stand?" Because we know the rules and stuff. Like, "Where do you want us to stand?" She's like just here. And obviously when the hymns are on, you can sort of move around if you need to, but try and be as still
Yeah,
as
I
possible.
don't want you to. I
Don't
don't
want-
want to see you basically.
I don't want to see you basically,
kind of
right?
thing.
But obviously me being me, the hymn was on.
Here
which
we
The
go.
hymn was on. I think people were stood up.
Everyone was
and
stood
you
up.
You walked from the front to the back. Obviously, it was
around the back. I
outside.
didn't like walk through the couple.
Through
I
the middle.
walked. I basically went round the world.
Move yous.
Do you want to just stop holding hands so I can get past? No, I went round the world to get to where it needs to be. And what I wanted to get, which I think you do it all the time, and most other photographers and videographers do it as well, it's always nice to get the back shot. And what I mean by that
Wherever
is, it's
possible.
back of the room, then two holding hands,
Yeah.
and obviously everyone else either stood up or sit down, whatever it looks like. And as I went to the back and started shooting, from this point, I must have been there like 5 to 10 seconds. And I was unaware of what was happening at the front. But basically, this woman had turned around to Beth and was like,
She gave me the death stare. Was like. And I
"What
was
did she
like-
do?"
She did
Yeah,
from
and I
Matthew's,
was
from
like,
Matthew's point of view.
God, she's fuming. He was like, "You tell him to stop moving." I was like,
So yeah, I got to
on my
luckily.
watch trying to text him saying, keep still.
And then as I went, oh no, like I'm in trouble. Yeah, I sort of basically backed my way up, walked around the world.
What was
again.
the problem though?
That's it, mate. It didn't distract from anyone, from the hymn or anything like that. This is my point when it comes to, like, this isn't me not disrespecting anyone's rules and stuff, but I feel like I wasn't flying a drone in there, because you can't, but I wasn't flying a drone in there, I wasn't standing on anyone's shoulders, I wasn't shouting, I wasn't doing anything. I literally tiptoed around the room to get to the back to get a nice shot for the couple, for like to make it a bit more cinematic, a bit more of a different, you know, point of view sort of thing, for the couple to see themselves from the back, the dress all nicely laid out. What's wrong with that? I went there I didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't budge past people to get to that spot. I went round the world discreetly, got there, was there for 10-15 seconds max because my watch went off saying, get back here.
Sort your head out.
Yeah. And then it sort of gave me this thing now where, you know, you have to overly ask now, don't you? Which I think opens a kind of worm, because you can go, we're kind of going to go. And sometimes there's the communication barrier where they don't understand what you're on about.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I always feel like if it comes from the couple, it's better.
I think as
Safer.
long as the couple have had the discussion prior to the wedding, then everyone's on the same page and everyone knows what's going on. But how did you get around it?
How did I get round it? So I was a little bit sly, to be fair. I was a little bit naughty. So even though she said, and this is at a point when I was, I would like to say inexperienced as well. So I didn't have the like delegation process in my mind of like how to overcome this like hurdle. Let's just say that. I literally just blended in a couple of times with a few different people. I actually moved during the ceremony as if I was just a guest and just took pictures without telling her.
Why was you not? What was the reasoning?
Don't know. This is what I couldn't understand it, because and it was the first time it had happened, and it's never really happened since. Restrict your movements and stuff like that. I get the things, because there's holy spots and obviously don't go on the altar, that type of stuff. I get them.
Holy spots where you fall down the hole.
Holy spots, yeah. Few holes there, mate. Old church, this. But like, I've never had that where it's no footage of any kind. So I don't know if it was just that particular person or what. But like, I just went, okay, yeah, that's fine, no problem. Turn to Liana, goes, right, listen, she's just told me this, but I'm still going to get you some photos anyway. Because it's your day, not theirs. And I just thought, even if I get like a handful, it's more than I would have got.
Yeah.
So I did it. I just took it on the chin. I thought, if I get shouted at, I'll get shouted at. That's the worst that's going to happen.
From the church.
Blacklisted from the church.
Funny that. But thinking of like other parts of the ceremony that just popped into my head then was like the ring exchange. Now, we know...
Well, I've got another question here about rings.
Go on.
So my question, talking about ring exchanges, which we've already alluded to,
with your
which
wedding.
becomes a bit of a joke now. I was going to say to you, what would you do if the couple forgot the rings at the ring exchange?
So this is the thing that always happens, and I think if it doesn't happen, I'm like, nah, he bottled it there. If the best man comes up and he goes, starts patting himself, that's just, do you know what I mean? Comedy. But thinking about when I was RJ's best man and I had the rings, what I did was, which was nice, I thought for them and their memory and a photo opportunity, which would be great, is I had my brother's little boy on me, which is obviously the son, and as I got to that bit where bring the rings up, bring the rings forward, he was on my knee and I went, go and say that to your mum and dad.
Nice.
And he was 3 years of age. So seeing this little 3-year-old in a little like tux walk up to his mum and dad and like look up, it just made the shot unbelievable. Like their photos, isn't it? Like you've seen the photos, they're unbelievable. And like I could have easily just went, yeah, make me out of the way.
Yeah.
My moments here. Yeah, oh, yeah, that.
My time to shine.
So I think with ring exchange, I think I'd always ask the couple, like, who do you want you to give you the rings? And it's not like, it's not the end of the world, is it really, when it comes to like, who gives you them, who doesn't give you them. And I always think sometimes in churches, they always bless them, don't they? So that they'll already ask for them.
Yeah, they do. Take it off them. I've only ever had, I'm trying to think of anything like
mishaps
that happened in one time I can think of.
One time in Cornwall it happened where we didn't have the rings. Remember?
Well, which we've discussed that. But another time when, as the ring exchange was happening and the little boy was passing over the ring, it got dropped on the floor.
It was the funniest thing.
Did it go missing or was it?
No, they did find it, but the bride was like...
The face. This bride was like a large-than-life character. So she couldn't, any emotion that she felt in the day, whether it was happiness,
It was like 100
sad,
miles an hour.
it was just
She
bigger
had,
than life.
yeah, she had such a big heart, but
Yeah,
you wouldn't
massive
want to get
heart.
on the wrong side of it as well.
Got ya.
She was a character, and at this point when it happened, I feel like us, the family, everyone knew her. So when this ring fell, we all knew it.
So did everyone else's pulse.
It was either going to be her laughing it off like larger than life, or her fuming and letting you know about it.
What way did it go?
The fuming one.
Oh.
And when
She smiled through it though.
she had to
Through gritted teeth.
Yeah, she had to in the end, but it was funny. I
Oh yeah,
thought
the little boy was like,
the little
"Sorry,
boy's
I'm
face.
sorry."
When I edited it, I can remember like going frame by frame, like looking at it, and it was hysterical because it went from being like, and the little boy, and her face being like, and then yeah, it was fun.
Loads of people always get their lefts and rights mixed up, I think, on the ring
Loads.
exchange.
Everyone, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, and the wrong hand, wrong finger and everything.
Yeah.
Remember
Was
when we
it
done the
Poppy
Greek...
and Kev's? Did they put it on the wrong hand?
Yeah,
Did they, yeah?
yeah,
Yeah.
No, remember when we
They have to
done the
swap back.
Greek wedding? They do it on the...
Opposite
they
hand.
do it on their right hand in the Greek weddings.
Everyone has their own, but there's always a little thing about it, isn't it? The Roman like
You
vein
say that
or
runs to
something,
your
Something like
runs to
that.
your
I
heart.
always like it's going to put me on a spot. It may look stupid now. But when they have that, like, the talk about why a ring, that it's a circle of unbroken, you know, that little spiel
Yeah.
that they do, which I can't remember off the top of my head, it was just stupid. But you know what I
think
mean,
that
though,
'cause
isn't
they
it?
say
It's an
the
unbroken
couple-
promise.
Yeah.
It's a constant circle of unbroken promises.
Yeah,
But they say the couple have decided to seal their wedding with the giving and receiving of rings, and I think, well, what else would they use? What is the options? Is it because that's how
Well-
they word it? Is there options?
I don't know. I've only ever seen rings exchanged, so
So if I would just the way it's worded, they've decided to give each other rings.
mean for the axes. Is that what you're gonna say?
No, I was
Go
going
on.
to say to Sam, he's like, Matty, do you want to Google it?
Matty, do you want to Google it?
Oh, dear.
Here's Matty, the producer. Well, while he's googling this, to see what other objects you can, what other objects you can give. Me and Matty shot a wedding this year where they give axes to one another.
stop it.
Yeah, at the top of the altar.
Did
So
they, yeah?
yeah.
I know.
Axes.
Yeah, I've seen. I know which wedding you're on about.
Personalised axes, and what they did was to symbolise the axe being given to another. They had like this tree, base of a tree, carving cut out.
Right.
Where the axes
Starts
slotted
to
in
make more sense
perfectly.
now.
Yeah, and then
I have the answer.
go on.
Yes, absolutely anything can work as an alternative to a traditional diamond ring. It could be another ring, it could be a different piece of jewellery like a necklace, or anything your partner might love and appreciate.
There you go.
There you go.
Dyson
So-
hair wrap. Yeah, I love
Trip to
Walking
the
boots,
Maldives.
ships to the Maldives. There you go.
There's a list, endless
They've
list.
decided-
I think the best thing, it's just to kind of like full circle on that. I think
Full circle like a ring.
how could you give anything but rings? That's the thing that kind of stay in your hand.
Yeah, of
the most
course.
fixed spot, isn't it? Because necklaces you take off and whatever. Rings are just there. They're just on.
Well, it's interesting to know that you actually can give something else.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I never ever knew.
Thanks, Matty, for
There you
googling
go.
that for us.
Producer Matty there with the encyclopedia.
Before we go on to question time, on the topic of ceremonies,
Yes.
any readings? You want to talk about any readings, or are we okay to
What
move
do you
on?
mean?
Because obviously, every wedding, some people ask for readings, some weddings don't.
Right. So talking about differences.
Did you have reading at yours?
No.
Your mum? Sure?
No one.
Okay.
So I was just going to say there, in terms of like how ceremonies go and how they look and stuff like that, talking about alternatives, talking about rings and alternatives to rings, you don't always have to have a priest/registrar. You can have a celebrant.
Yes.
Good point. Good talking point.
Yeah, very
We're
perfect.
gonna definitely get a celebrant on, I think.
Yeah.
100%.
100%. I've got a few in mind already, lovely
Yeah.
ones as well. I think the thing with a celebrant, and Becky and James are the
I
celebrants
thought
of theirs,
that. I hate James, that one.
they are, if you don't know what a celebrant is, they basically spend, I guess, a bit more time with you to kind of discover your backstory of how you met, differences about each other's lives and stuff like that, and it creates that like story, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which I think is brilliant. Question time!
I can't wait to edit them audio levels.
All right then, question time. So question time, obviously we know
Hey!
it's a regular occurrence every single week now. Some questions have been sent in.
Ooh.
Nice one for your submissions. And we've got some boss questions, to be fair. But this is the one I'll ask you first.
Go on.
I'll ask you. Have you done any famous weddings or been asked to do any? And if not, who would your ideal celebrities be?
Oh, I like that. I like
Good
that
question,
a lot.
that.
So, in terms of celebrity weddings, we've actually not done any celebrity weddings that we would know of before we got to them.
Shucks.
If that makes sense. So, like,
Yeah.
what I call a celebrity is someone that I would recognise before I knew them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we've done lots of weddings where there's been celebrities.
There's a comma.
Guests. Yeah.
Guests who've been there. Obviously, we can name a few, but I don't think it's
Not a
that
name
cool.
drop there.
It's not that cool, is it? Name dropping.
I mean, I wouldn't really. I've got one. I mean, he's not a celebrity, but he's just known.
Go on.
But we done a wedding where the best man was Johnny Bongo. Obviously, Bongo's Bingo.
He's a celebrity in his own
Shout
right.
out Bongo's
but
Bingo.
Because obviously, I've been to Bongo's Bingos many times and I recognise him. I felt like I knew him.
Yes.
So I felt like when I seen him, I was like, "Hi, Johnny, you alright?" Like,
Did you say that?
Like, no, I felt like I wanted
you
to,
could
as
have,
if I knew
right.
him, and I was like, "He has no idea who you
Yeah.
are. Like, you do not know this man."
And he's got that personality where he's very inviting as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously his job is very
Do you know him
much-
as well?
No, but I feel like, well, funny enough, we could be doing the Christmas party, so
Ooh! Breadcrumbs.
which happens in January, not at Christmas time. But yeah, like, for them, he's very inviting, so you already feel like you know him. But I wouldn't class him as a celebrity, no offence, but I wouldn't.
And then we've done like some
Some people off Love Island have been at weddings that we've been at.
Hollyoaks,
TV
like,
stuff,
things
yeah.
like that.
But in terms of celebrity that I would like to do, I would
Good question,
love to do, this is a bit wet, I think,
I reckon it's going to be.
but I would love to do Millie Bobby Brown's wedding.
I knew you were going to say that. You
Wow,
know?
I did not
honestly
expect that to
knew
come out of
it.
your mouth.
Because I love strange things, so
Just purely for that reason.
yeah. Because I think
She engaged?
Yeah.
She's only about 10.
Well,
No.
it's not
Well, she's probably more
No,
like
she only
11.
about 10.
Hey, she's probably more like 11.
Hey, that's
Hey, some fan in. Talk about 20 minutes.
Milan went off and watch for some reason, but yeah, I think the whole strange thing cast would be there. It'd be great to be involved in something like that.
Justin.
So yeah,
So
Dusty
Millie
man.
Bobby Brown, if you're looking for a videographer.
And
Shout out Millie Bobby Brown.
She supported the pool as well, so that's all.
Does she?
She does. She does. Her dad and brother support Liverpool, that's why she does. She's
She's got
English.
sense, that's why.
Hey!
Ah, too far. Are they from round here?
I was like, I didn't know what you said.
Don't worry.
Any other
Upset you.
questions? Or do you want to give us
No.
your celebrity of the week if you had anyone?
I haven't.
Celebrity of the week.
Similar to you, I've had like celebrity guests at weddings.
What?
He's alright.
Do you want your celebrity of the week?
Who would you capture? Whose wedding? Celebrity? All over the place this week, I swear.
I know. We're not prepared for this, are we?
No.
Go on.
I don't know. I don't know.
No.
I feel like it couldn't be someone too high profile
Go on.
because I'd be starstruck.
Yeah, oh yeah. So that's
be
exactly what I was thinking in my mind.
starstruck,
Weirdly,
so-
I wouldn't want it to be someone that's like stupid
I'd be
levels.
shitting myself.
Because the
Yeah.
not only there is a certain degree of pressure to every wedding day, as we know, but at least with like normal people, can we do
Yeah.
that? Like, there's a level of pressure that you can like
You're all
control.
special to me.
Do you know what I mean? The pressure is on you for like being in the right place, right time, and stuff like that. But at something high profile like that, when there's security guards and everything, I think that'd be a mad
Security guards.
security guards.
Security! Next question.
Yeah,
Sorry.
why not?
Right, just putting you on the spot
It's
here.
all right, lads. I've got it right here.
This is our last
So-
question, by the way. Could be getting dark in here.
I've read the I read the bottom where it says, "Have a great week. Good luck on the next episode." It's a little bit up from that. So, I don't even know if I can say it. Have guests ever been caught by you doing something they shouldn't, and ask you not to put the footage in the video or photos?
So we've had a few...
That's like close to the grain. That.
I've
Well-
had a few not do anything but just not want to be filmed for whatever reason. One quite recent when there was singing waiters and obviously everyone's up dancing,
Yeah.
and you're going around trying to get everyone at the tables, like make sure you're covering everyone in the room. And as I was getting the table with multiple people on it, this fella stood up and would literally like put his hand in front of me and
Was
was
I
like,
at this one?
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
don't film me. And I was like,
remember this.
oh, okay. Fair enough.
I remember you saying that,
For
actually.
what reason, I don't know why, but I was just like, okay, I'm just
He's on the run.
obviously just turned away.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes there's obviously, dress malfunctions where things happen,
Yeah.
nip slips, if that's what you want to call it. Well,
That happened to you, does it?
well, it's happened to me a few times, but it has happened at weddings where things like dress malfunctions can happen, and I'm gonna go serious with this bit because it is a bit like touchy, I think, and I don't want to make fun of it.
I know, yeah.
But with that happening,
We don't film in the toilets, note.
But yeah, that's one thing we don't do. We don't film in toilets. But when that does happen, we obviously are very conscious of, making sure the person's aware of what's happened if they haven't already noticed. So, for example, Beth said it before, when she's on a dance floor and she's like panning round, and you captured this bit, didn't you, where the girl's boob had slightly fell out of the dress, let's say, and Beth had to say to her, "Oh my god, like they helped her," basically, didn't you?
Yeah, and obviously you're not going around looking for things like that to capture, but if we were ever to capture something on those lines, it would never ever make the film. Like, we would never ever put things
Good
like that.
point, Bethany.
And then we've had it before where we were filming a ceremony, and after the ceremony, a guest come over to us and basically said, "Can I just review your footage?" It was the weirdest thing ever. Have we spoken about this in the podcast recently?
I don't think so.
No, I
No.
don't think that.
So basically, this guest come over to us and said, "Can I review the footage because my girlfriend is a little bit paranoid that dress malfunction happened when the bridal party were coming in. She was a guest, you see." So we were like, "Okay, we'll review it for you now." And he went, "No, but I want to watch it because I want to make sure that I can reassure her that it wasn't in there." And luckily it wasn't. And I feel like for us as a team, even from a photo and film point of view, things do happen in the background of stuff. We can't help it. If you're the subject and there's something going on here and it's not great for film or photo, it'll never be included, would it?
Nope.
Yeah, and we will never stand there and capture it. We would immediately
That's
put
why-
the camera away to make it obvious that, like, they're arguing. We're just going to make it clear we're not capturing anything, or obviously just move away.
You're a human being at the end of the day, and you understand, like, we've all been in them situations where it hasn't been your day, you know what I mean? Or something's happening and you don't want it to be filmed. And that's why we always put ourselves out as like a natural and relaxed team. We don't walk around with this big camera and pointing in people's faces when they don't want it. Which made me think of, like, it's a good point that, and how we actually feel when them things are happening and we capture them by accident. We don't like it. And that's why when it comes to singing waiters, when they fall over and you've got to film it, I hate that, because people probably look at us and go, "Oh my god, I can't believe they're filming that," thinking it's funny when someone's fell over, which we would never do.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Never thought about that. Like
I
that.
always, that's honestly,
I
God.
do. I always think they must be like, because obviously everyone's so concerned that someone's fell over, they're all rushing over, and you're like, you're trying to be discreet, not make it obvious to go along with what's going on, but you're like, you need to capture it for the storyline. So it's like,
I do my best acting face as well. I always go,
yeah,
like, try and like,
Is that your best acting?
yeah, I try and like point the camera that way and go like, do all
act
that.
like you're not filming, but you are.
Yeah. I hate it though, because I always feel like, again, I wouldn't like, if that was me, elderly person fell over, I wouldn't like someone to make fun of it and filming it. I'm one of them people. I don't laugh at people falling over. Beth does.
Not elderly.
Not elderly people, but I mean, like, when you watch you being
Heartless.
when you watch you
not
being
elderly,
framed,
but
you being framed, Beth finds that hysterical when people like hurt themselves.
sick sense of humour.
You're
When
not
I'm-
right, you.
I'm one
Was
of them
it,
people.
was it you that ripped that box open?
You know when you fall over and people go, "Oh, hey!" That's Beth. And I'm like,
But not when Josh falls over, I'm like,
yeah, because I'm
Don't.
Be very aware.
I'm like, I've just hurt myself then.
That really hurt, Charlie.
Little viral video for you there.
Yeah, sadly, there was no, like, gory details there, wasn't there? I think that was where the question was aimed. Like, have you ever caught anyone, like, in the act or anything like that? However, I've heard of people working at venues catching people doing certain things they shouldn't be. But we'll leave that for a different time.
It's not for this podcast.
Not for this podcast, that's an 18 plus one, that.
But yeah, anything else to add before we wrap this episode up?
No, just really, from me, really, just to say thanks everyone for listening, as always. We've had a lovely little time today, haven't we?
Yeah.
A little bit ahead of ourselves, probably went in directions that we didn't intend on, but that's the reality of
The
what this is.
beauty of this
The
podcast.
there's
beauty
never
of...
any structure, we just
No,
There is.
roll
We've-
with it.
like we always say, we're very real people, aren't we? And that's why we don't re-rehearse or pre-rehearse any of our answers to questions, or I don't even know if you looked what those questions are before I
didn't,
seen them.
to be fair.
Which keeps it more nice and raw, and you know that you're always getting us on the day.
Yeah. And do you want to add what our next episode looks like, or do you want to just...
I'll let Beth do it.
Don't go into too much detail. Let's keep it a little surprise.
So our next episode won't be from our couch.
Breadcrumbs.
You'll be glad to know it will be from somewhere a bit more exclusive.
Good word.
Cat's out the
So
bag.
you'll have to make sure that you...
It's definitely going to
Right,
be
feels.
our last episode before Christmas. So we're going to make it sure it's a Christmas special episode.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows? We might have some guests on there as well for us. That, you know,
Santa.
not the one from Beetledown, because he has 110s on.
Leave him alone.
See you on the next one. I was going to do peace, but leave
Good,
after.
good job you didn't. That's the end.